Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to look at what the new Fire Mage will look like so you can prepare for the upcoming patch on Tuesday. We will cover what to expect, going over the patch notes strictly related to the Fire Mage, the build layout, if the new patch was now, what would the best talents or aspects for the gear look like, and the Paragon buffs don't seem to be worth it, but will the buffs provided be able to make it so that we do not have to use so many defensives? I do not provide a Paragon board in this video, just a disclaimer, other than the first 20 levels, as there's much testing to be done. And we will also be covering which key passives to go, Combustion versus Isu's Ferocity, which key passives looking like the meta. But anyway, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so for the buffs for the new patch notes, we got Enhanced Fireball. Casting Fireball increases the radius by 50%. And then Destructive Fireball, critical strike damage is increased by 20%. This bonus is increased to 30% if the fireball hits 3 targets. So if we look at the fireball now, Destructive Fireball's explosion critical strike damage is increased by 10%. This bonus increased by 30% if the fireball hits at least 3 enemies. So it's going to get a 10% buff just for the raw damage. That's all the change for just the skills. The key passives, Isu's Ferocity, both bonuses are granted for 3 seconds when hitting a boss with the critical strike. So all those chains for Isu's Ferocity is they both combine together. If we look at that now, Isu's Ferocity, your fire critical strike damage increased by 25% against enemies above 50% life, and your fire critical strike chance is increased by 5% against enemies below 50% life. So against bosses you'll get both of those bonuses full time. And then the next buff is Combustion. Your burning effects deal 20% increased damage plus an additional times 2% increased damage per unique source of burning you applied to the enemy. So Combustion, if you run Hydra fire damage, the Meteor fire damage, Firebolt fire damage, the Fireball fire damage, all of it will be multiplied. And then you can also run aspects that increase your dot damage. So Combustion looks like it's going to be a nuke of bosses. Alright guys, I kind of want to get into the new aspects that the fire build will probably be running. We got the aspect of Protector, damage get elite, grants you a barrier, arraignment. And then we got aspect of Shared Misery. That kind of goes into the skill tree. We'll get to that in a minute, right after this. But when you hit a crowd control enemy, there's a 50% chance for that crowd control effect to spread to another unaffected enemy. So the fire build is immobilizing and a whole lot of crit damage and crit chance. We don't want any vulnerable damage because we don't really make enemies vulnerable. We go for high multipliers on the crit damage, but we'll get into that more later. So we got Shared Misery, then we got aspect of Disobedience, and then we have Exploiters. You have a 20% increased crowd control duration, immobilize. And while enemies are unstoppable, you deal 40% increased damage to them. So for our weapon, our wand, we increase the critical strike damage of Fireball by 40%, double the bonus against healthy enemies. So once you walk up to enemies and you Frost Nova and you spam Fireball, everything's going to be healthy. It's just going to get blown up, especially with our Fireball enchant as well. So going to our offhand, you deal 35% more damage to immobilized enemies. Pretty simple. Our rings are both mana gain aspects, so Prodigy and Umbral. Restore 4 resource, and then using a cooldown restores 25% or 25 mana, which is very nice. Elementalist core or mastery skills casted above 100 mana gain a 40% increased critical strike chance, so not damage. So once you walk into a fight and you Frost Nova, like I said, you'll just spam Fireball, so you'll have a 40% increased critical strike chance. So like I said, this is a nuke build. And here's our abilities, same old. If you have mana issues, you can run Firebolt, but I'll probably make a build without using a basic skill. But anyway, here's our Fireball. But into the skill tree, we got 2 into Firebolt, 5 into Fireball with Destructive. So I've already went over the buff to that. And we got 1 into Devastation just to get here. Your core skills deal 9% increased damage when cast above 50 mana. And then going down to our defensives. Flame Shield with Shimmering, Teleport with Shimmering. We got 2 of 3 in Gas Clannon. And then 1 of 3 in Elemental Attunement. So that 5%, I've seen it pop off my Flame Shield a lot. We got 1 and 1 into Enhance Ice Armor. So your mana regen is increased by 25% just to increase our mana regen just in case we have an issue with it. And then 5 of 5 at a Frost Nova, and then 1 in the Mystical. We got 3 of 3 in the Precision Magic. We got 1 in the Align the Elements, 3 and 3 in Protection. So using cooldown grants 30% of your max life as a barrier. So we want to get max life on gear, so this scales well. And then we have Mana Shield. Every time you spend 100 mana, you gain 20% damage reduction for 5 seconds. And then obviously we're not taking anything here, but just the fire passives. Inner Flames 3 of 3. Your pyromancy skills deal 9% increased damage while you are healthy. 3 of 3 in this Beloved passive. You deal 21% increased critical strike damage against burning enemies. If they are also immobilized, this bonus is increased to 30%, which leads us to Crippling Flames, Lucky Hit. Pyromancy skills have a 15% chance to immobilize. This chance is doubled while you are healthy, so that goes back to our aspect of shared misery. When you hit a crowd-controlled enemy, there's a 50% chance that immobilize will spread to another unaffected enemy. And then going into our exploiters, you have 20% increased crowd control duration. And then going to our ultimate, we have 1 in 3 of Fire Sorc, 3 of 3 in Endless Pyre. You deal increased burning damage to enemies for each second they remain burning. And 3 of 3 into Warmth. Every 1 second you heal 9.9% of your max life for nearby burning enemy, and then 2% from bosses almost. And then also Isu's. If you want to take points out of here and then put them into teleport, something like that, flame shield, what have you, you can do that as well. But that's it for the talents. So like I said, we're really not going into the Paragon, because there's a lot of testing. But the question is, will the buffs provided be able to make it so that we do not have to use so many defenses? From the looks of it, no. Only dropping Frost Nova for Hydra for more fire damage. We will probably still run off 3 defensives using Ice Armor, Flame Shield, and Teleport mainly. Running Hydras is a bad idea, seeing as though Hydra will only slow you down in speedruns as they are stationary. If you're not worried about that though, both Hydras have their second upgrade to either deal more damage or apply a burn effect to complement the new Combustion. So that begs the question, Combustion versus Isu's, which key passive is looking like the new meta? For speedrunning, Isu's Ferocity is a clear winner, as having much more crit damage and crit chance is far too valuable. Combustion, you can look at it as Sorc's poison build, like for rogues, or dot build from Necro. I guarantee when Combustion gets put to good use, it will absolutely melt bosses. Seeing as the new patch is Tuesday, I wanted to get this video out to get you prepared with new aspects, talents, and general knowledge. Let me know in the comments what you think of the new patch for sorcerers, how it will affect us, and your plans for the new patch. I'll see you all in the next one.